We're alive, Mr. Wade. Are you,
Thank
sir?
you. Thank you, Leonard. It's a pleasure sitting in your company again, once again, Leonard,
Pleasure
on
is
a,
mine too, sir.
on a chill afternoon and a chill evening and a
Yeah.
chill all over, Leonard. That's why I understand, this chill, that is
Chill it, chill it, chill.
yeah, blanketing the region, both at home and abroad.
Yes, sir.
Um, Leonard, want to welcome our viewers, Belizeans, both at home and abroad, and all those who view us.
Yes, sir.
I know
Uh,
there are many, Leonard, that watch us a little later, and we are viewed around the world.
wor-
Leonard.
Worldwide, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Worldwide.
Those who
Sir, sir,
yes,
I have
sir.
a I have a person in Belize. I was just going to say I have a friend in Belize, but he's not really my friend. He's an adversary, but I still consider him to be a friend.
Yes,
The man
sir.
always he jinx me and they put post on the internet say we got some ballet where they on the program we only get two people every time in broadcast. I hear
Okay,
me and say
okay,
that's just
okay.
a joke, but it's as sometimes
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
want to get vexed with the man, right? But I
Yeah,
said, look, I love this word going, man, because you don't know what
yeah,
it talk about in the first place.
exactly. And not two people and me and you. Well, three. You should have said three. Me, you, and Greg. At least we have three votes.
Uh, the
But
guy is, you know, he always try to get under my skin, that he's objective,
oh yes,
and
man.
stands for UP, right? And he say he
Oh
can't
yes.
learn nothing for no UDP or nobody else, you know.
Well,
So
well, I'm
anyhow,
glad, Leonard, that he gets it hot tamale. I mean, he got it live and direct, right? So he could take it. I hope he take it just like how he get it, Leonard, right? I hope he take
and I
it
hope
back.
and I ho- and I'm hoping that he really is looking at this stuff and listening to what's going on, rather than just this try to be funny, right? Because I know
Yes,
anyhow, I'll leave that alone. I'll just
but anyway, Leonard, I want to welcome our viewers, on our Belizean Affairs show number 396, Leonard, blessed Wednesday, 4th February 2026. Welcome once again. And Leonard, we should be joined. I understand that our next senior panelist, the Monday night chairman, Mr. Gregory Brackett, is having some difficulties, technical beyond his control, and blackouts and stuff. So hopefully that they they put the switch up and give some.
maybe they find out where the man live, man.
Hey Leonard, I put nothing past these people. I put the way these people behave. I put nothing past them.
But I don't think the man
So,
will black out the whole neighborhood just to get that one person, man. I
oh
mean,
yes, oh yes, oh yes. They
they're
are
like that, no?
capable. Yes, they
They're
are
like that,
capable
no?
of doing that. They are like that. Um, and hopefully we should be joined by Mr. Morrison also. Leonard, if he gets to his location, in time. You know, um, and as usual, Leonard, we go straight into it because our little time is very, very, small. So we try to, use every minute, every second of it. So we get right into it, Leonard, with a prayer. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll bow my head and say a prayer. Divine loving Father, we thank thee for this privilege to come before thy presence, asking that thou would consider for supplication, for thy mercies, for thy blessings on us and on our family members, friends, and loved ones, as well as
Amen.
on our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and this country of the United States, its people and leadership, and the rest of humanity, especially those people who are in dire need of food, clothes, and shelter, and
Amen.
those who are going through major disasters, man made as well as natural. We pray
Amen.
that God would have mercy upon them as well. Please guide us as we present this program tonight, that whatever we say and do may be to thy honor and glory, as well as to the well being of our country of Belize and its people. Amen.
Thank you, Leonard. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for that
You're
sobering
welcome, Mr.
prayer.
Chairman.
It's very necessary that we pray, we give thanks and praise, because tomorrow is promised to no one, Leonard.
Yes, sir.
So we again, for the record, we here on this program, we are not pastors or preacher or bishop or pope or but we serve our Almighty.
Amen.
We know that there is a God, and I want to give Him uh, thanks and praise for this day, for giving us this privilege once more. Leonard, give Him
Yes,
thanks
sir.
and praise.
Amen.
Um, I'll do a continue on Proverbs 20 to 27, and it reads chapter 29, and it reads, "Do you see a man who is hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Whoever pampers his servant from childhood will, in the end, find him his hair. His hair. A man of wrath stirs up strife, and one given to anger causes much transgression. One's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. The partner of a thief hates his own life. He hears the curse, but discloses nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of a man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Many seek the face of a ruler, but it is from the Lord that a man gets justice. An unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, but one whose ways is straight is an abomination to the wicked. That's my reading in Proverbs 29, 120 to 27.
Some strong
Um,
words there, Mr. Chairman.
yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Leonard, I want to, through our medium here, honor Cancer Day, Leonard, today. Uh, February 4th is the World Cancer Day. Yeah. So, Leonard, through our medium, we want to say, our condolences to all those I have lost loved ones to cancer, Leonard, in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to, our condolences, Leonard, to all those families who had lost a loved one by cancer. Um,
One of the famous deadly diseases. I mean, there's so many different variations and varieties,
yes, Leonard. And reason why I want to stress on it a little bit is for the authorities um to start to take heed, because especially in a third world country, Leonard, like Belize, the healthcare situation, and well, most of us know who had contact with the health care in this nation of Belize. We know what I'm talking about. As for me, Leonard, I would like them to do more. I would like them to get updated. I would like them to get the necessary equipment and the necessary people to run these equipment and get good doctors and nurses and a nice facility. If it's even one for the nation, Leonard, when I say proper, Mr. Health Minister and Mr. Johnny Brisenio, you are the money man. Mr. Health Minister, you are the man that you are tasked with that job to make sure that the healthcare system in the country, the healthcare system that the poor people use, is well equipped with the money you get. Should go to the right cause. Leonard, why I'm saying this, most of the cancer patient in the nation of Belize goes to Merida, Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
to get treatment. They sell their homes, they sell their farms, they sell their vehicles, they sell whatever assets. They dry their bank account because it's not, I'm talking from experience to my loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
They dry their bank's account just to cross that border and get treatment. Treatment that is not in Belize. If it was in Belize, Leonard, they wouldn't go across the border to get, they will do it right in Belize. But it's not. But yet you hear a whole hell of a baloo that, they have this and they have that, and for cancer, you hear it all the time, Oh, the, 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 the women in politics, always talk about, the best. But when they get ill, where do they go?
Abroad, at our
There you
expense.
go. There you go. I'm happy for them, Leonard. I'm happy for them that they got that opportunity to do that. But a lot suffers, Leonard, to the very last breath in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, Mr. Brisenio, the money man of this nation that controls the money, you and Mr. Garcia, Nardia Garcia, and Mr. Waite that runs the books, please put some money aside for cancer, right? I don't know if you want to say something on that.
Yes, sir. Uh, I'd like to say that I don't know of anyone in my family that has suffered from cancer. Not that they may not have been, but I'm not aware of any as of right now. But the bottom line is that, like any other disease, it people deserve to be treated for it. And it seems like all politicians, because when they get sick, as you quite well stipulated earlier, they get to go abroad on our dime to take care of whatever is it that ails them and their family, by the way. But they don't have they have no real urgency to provide for us, the rest of the population. As you said, most of the people have to go abroad. Why should they have to go abroad when we have enough funds in the country, in our budgets, to be able to do a whole lot of craziness with, in addition to borrowing many other millions of dollars from abroad? Why can't we go and borrow some money from abroad as well for critical issues such as those? They said they was going to build a hospital, top of the line hospital. They got the money, They had the land, they decided not to use the land and go and buy some additional lands that were not appropriate for that particular type of project. And now, because they got a flack about it from people, it seems like, well, they're going to spite the people now and decide not to do just about anything. They're not going to do anything. We complain about the wrongdoings that they were doing, so now they're going to spite us. While at the same time, they will take our money and help themselves when they have a problem. Especially the ministers, them. They get all kind of privilege. They got like almost guaranteed insured medical services provided to them. Any which one of them or their family members get sick, it is always on the people's dime. They could go to the private hospital there in Belize, and the government still pays for it. Whereas the regular person can't go to the private hospital because the government is not going to pay for it. Even though they are now saying that um, the special health program would allow the private companies them to bill the government for services. Well, yes, they are being billed for the services, but not services that they are providing to just the average Blow Joe. It's services that they are providing to the people who can afford to pay their own services. They go to the most expensive hospitals,
Amen to that. Amen
and
to
like
that.
I said, we pay for it. So why can't we get some services too? As a matter of fact, that particular hospital I'm talking about was bought with money out of the public treasury, money that belongs
Taxpayers'
to people.
dollars.
Not only do we pay for the hospital, we paid all the loan and all the outstanding increase in penalties. We went from 20 million to I think 80 something million by the time they add on the cost for legal affairs and the interest over the long period of time that money was being it was being borrowed from Mr. Ashcroft. And Mr. Ashcroft ended up with about 80 to $90 million. And that was supposed to have been for us, the public. That's where the Venezuelan money went. I yield back, sir.
That's where, Leonard, that's where the public private thing started. Public private,
And they've
right?
been playing us and they've been playing us for suckers ever since then.
And who did that? The People's United Party
Same group,
government.
same group that are doing what they're doing right now to us. They never learn nothing, they never change their ways. I yield back, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
Sad, Leonard, sad to see how these people find money. I will call this name who want to get mad at me or want to run me over or want to do me something. That is fine with me. Mr. Lord Ashcroft, the UDP quick jump and find money for him, millions of dollars when they are in power, because you see this man is like a cat. He sits in the back, and he just wait till when he see his little rats get to where he want them to get, he jumps and devour in the
Mhm.
UDP. Same thing in the PUP. He sits in that. That's how this man lives, right? And it's not only right now. This man has been doing this to our nation and people for many, many, many years,
Modern slavery, Mr. Chairman.
right? And when a little black man come and want to do something, watch what they do to this little black man, right? Watch the turmoil that person goes through, right? Mr. Ashcroft,
Go
he
ahead, sir. Senior,
go ahead, Leonard.
not Mr. Morrison. Somebody's in the background. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Not sure if
okay.
it's Morrison.
Leonard, watch
No.
when the UDP in power, right? The amount of money that Lord Ashcroft takes this country for. Watch when the PUP in power. What's there? It's all about, and he only threatened to sue, and he only threatened, right? And he jumped. I could remember the first one was 76 million. He claimed that, would pay this man this because this man was suey because, this the money brought over from Dean Barrow administration. This man wanted money. The man read that damn thing in cabinet, and that very same day it was approved for that man. $76 million.
In the house, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Leonard, in the house, right? And publicly, they have no qualms doing it. And this man sued this country and sued the Belizean people left, right, and center every time. Like every 2 years, Leonard, there's a suit with Lord Ashcroft in this country. Or give or take 3 years. And let's not forget the top-notch attorney that represent this man. And they're supposed to love our country. And we give them jobs, these attorneys. The taxpayers pay them to. Right? Take that anywhere you want to take that. I could give a hoot. Right? Because these things worth talking about. Look at now, they find money for the BTL saga, right? They already have that money, eyes on that money. But anyway, I want to welcome. We're going to talk about these things. I want to welcome Mr. Gregory Brackett, our senior Monday night panelist, and our technical man. I thank him for being able to, to get ready for tonight because of technical difficulties beyond his control earlier. Welcome, Greg. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night to you, Mr. Chairman. Good night to my good cousin. Good night to you, people at home and abroad. I want to thank you for tuning in to this 96th edition of Belizean Affairs. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. We will talk about the ongoing BTL saga, right? And we also gonna talk about these 4 senators who are showing their face, having their little press conference, Leonard and Greg, and stating and taking to the people their concern. And we're going to talk about the Northern Caucus, who sees nothing wrong. The Northern the Northern PUP Caucus. Let me get it right. Because I don't want no UDP consume me because they're right there. No, it's a PUP thing, right? They see no problem in what their boss is doing. Greg, I want you to, and another thing I want to remind the people that, I personally, Leonard, would like to know how much money was given to the PUP government for housing these deportees, this memorandum that they signed with the U.S. We would like to know what's in there, right? I mean,
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes, sir. Because I could have give a hoot if it was the foreign minister money or the PUP money or the Johnny Briceño money when take care of these people and the hospital that they're going to and the jobs that they will be getting. And I could have cared less if they were going to go cut cane or work with the foreign minister or what. No, but they'll all benefit. And I'm not talking about the Belizean. I'm not concerned about the Belizean deportees, Leonard, because they cannot go nowhere else. They got to come home to this country. And we have that duty to accept these people. But I'm talking about the one that the Salvadoran government don't want, the one that the Guatemalan government don't want, and the criminals from other nations that they are going to take. Those are the people I'm talking about, Leonard, and that's why my concern. But I go to you, Greg. Let's Persian
Mr. Chairman,
issues.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
on that point that you was talking about, the people that they're going to accept who are criminals, because we know some of them will be criminals. Um, are they going to be treated the same way as they treat our local Belizeans? Or is that going to be a separate, like they won't be a separate entity among us with special privileges accorded to them? Or
Separate laws for them.
at least their international human rights will have to be observed and protected. But I yield back, sir. I'll probably
Yes, sir.
comment.
Also, yeah, Greg, to fill you in, we talked about today World Cancer Day, Greg, and we talked about it, a little bit before you joined us, and we talked about the lacking of resources for our cancer patients and where they have to go to get adequate and decent service. We talk about that, and we talk about what we would like the government to do for people with cancer. Okay, so I just want to fill you in with that. But I pass it over to you, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, Mr. Chairman, I want to break down the details saga and to show the people at home and abroad why this is a bad deal. So I will go to the first step, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
The financial summary of this transaction: the investment payback. The discounted payback period for the 80 million investment is 4.2 years. Dividend growth. Dividends to shareholders are projected to increase with the increase in synergies, the increased available cash flow once this transaction happens. BTL is able to support stronger shareholder returns. That's the minority shareholders, that's the large shareholders, and also our employees. And the minority shareholders are 1,500 minority shareholders. 200% increase return to shareholders on a $5 share. These returns are very, very strong, which is why the transaction makes sense. The duplicated infrastructure, the wasted duplicated assets, consumers are paying for this. Consumers are paying the price for duplicated infrastructure.
Tell us about the goal of reaching those 43 communities and how are they being left out at the moment?
So the economic returns to go and build infrastructure in these very remote areas is a long payback. Companies look at their financial returns and see where it's viable commercially to actually build infrastructure. Telecoms is expensive to roll out network infrastructure, and it doesn't make commercial sense. This transaction enables us to redeploy those assets that Smart has, and also BTL, to enable us to roll those networks sites out to those areas at a much reduced cost, which increases the payback. We're estimating that 18,000 people, when we roll out this new infrastructure, will gain access to telecom services that don't have it today.
Mr. Chairman, we listen to the tape. Before I say anything, I want to go to my good cousin to hear his input since he was debating and figures. Make it make sense, my good cousin.
I'm not supposed to be able to make it make sense, but I'll try. I'll take a stab at it. I'll take a stab at it and point out where the good gentleman was put out there as a face of reason and rationalization. And my comments would be in support of my perspective. That is to say, all he's doing is singing for his supper and conflating and lying. He's not outrightly lying on each and everything that he's saying, but on enough of what he's saying, he's lying. And on what he's not lying on, he's conflating or creating a diversion. Because the man is talking about economics as if he's the only person that knows the meaning of the word economics and what it means or how it operates. In the first instance, let me point out for you. When he says that buying smart will allow us to have the redundancy of duplicated services, that we will then not have to go and buy those assets and improve those assets for the areas that don't have services, he's conflating. He's not lying, you know. He's telling half of the truth and half a lie. And he expects to get away with it because nobody's supposed to understand what he's saying or talking about. I do, and there are many other Belizeans who do. But you think that all of us are at the same intellectual level whereby they could come and tell us any kind of hogwash and we are just supposed to accept it because he says so or they say so. Secondly, everybody know who understand these matters that the system that BTL has and the system that Smart have are basically one and the same type of systems. We already been told by BTL that they have redundant systems already. Smart have redundant systems. So if between both of them have redundant systems, that means that you have 4 times this type of systems or their capacity or the level of effort, which is why you call it redundant. You don't call redundant something that you didn't have. You call redundant something that you have 2 times as much or more than enough of what you need. So if he knows that the stuff is redundant, why the hell do we got to buy it? Why don't they try to sell it to some other private entity? Maybe the Northern Caucus could grab up some money and buy it. Since they are so interested in it, we are not interested in it because it doesn't serve our interest. And we know better. We know that they are trying to cash out and leave us with a cat in the bag while they walk away with our resources. He says that in order for them to buy the stuff, the shareholders of BTL will be getting 21%, which is a good return on their money. I want to explain to him, because apparently he doesn't know, but I'm going to explain to him as well as you, the Belizean people. Us putting up our money to buy a system that we already have a redundancy on puts us in a disadvantage whereby we won't have that money to compete with Starlink or any of the other people that come by later on. What's going to happen is that some of these same people that are currently in the business, the smaller people, and or maybe for all you know, Mr. Ashcroft or even the Bishanians then could turn around and make agreement to work with Starlink. And while we are there, having given them our money and can't find money to be able to deal to upgrade our system, they will be able to cut deals with Starlink, come in, and then put our system out of business. So when we go out of business, we will still be owing them for what we bought. Well, we're not buying it. They are selling it, trying to sell it to us. And they are trying to use the power of governance and the power and the authority and the vested interest of the government to take advantage of us. Why? Because their body heads our government. So they're using our powers against us. It's crazy. It's ludicrous, and it's unbecoming and unfair. And I would like to say that gentleman, in addition, he was talking about the shares that will give them 21%. Yeah, we will get a few other people coming in from Smart to BTL. As a matter of fact, even though the government took away BTL government contracts and gave it to Smart, Smart was still barely surviving. That's why they want to get out the business now that they see the other new companies coming in, and they want to get out the business, but they want to cash out on our dime. Take their business and sell it to somebody else who wants their business. Or since their business was making profit, they should be able to continue to run their business and make their own profit. Why do they have to come in and make an agreement with us saying that, oh, well, they're not going to take all the 80 million up front. All we have to do is come up with 10 million, give them the first 10 million as a down payment, and pay them the rest as the gentleman stipulated just now in 4 years and a couple of months. What that's going to do is, if we have, for example, last year they said they made $28 million, which was one of their best year, according to them. If we take their best year last year and multiply it times 4, 28 times 4 is how much? 112 million, right? And we're going to give them 80 million. So it means that out of the 112, we will have 32 million left over 5 years. I mean, over 4 years, four plus. So his economics doesn't work because we will be taking our profit and giving it to them instead of them going ahead and make their own profit with BTL. I mean, with Smart. They're not making that kind of money right now with Smart. So why don't they keep their own property, continue investing in their own property, enhance their own, and continue the competition? They wanted to get into competition with BTL. Why are we now being forced to buy them over? Let them continue the competition and let them go under, if they can't survive, let them go under. That's what business is all about. Are you right, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, Leonard, I see that gentleman for who he is
Is a hard
and what, yes, and his assignment there, along with the Lizard that I see it like you said that, they saw competition, in the horizon that they will not be able to compete with.
Mm-hmm.
So, they cashing out, and BTL is their target, for them to cash out, and you see all the hurdles that they're jumping over right now to get cash out. But my biggest thing is that if this deal goes through, well, my question,
Shouldn't go through.
guys, huh?
No way should it go through.
No, I'm just saying, these jackals, what I'm saying is that does that deal, including all the smart equipment, all the smart buildings,
Very good question, Mr. Chairman.
all that,
Can you make a step on your toe? There's something else to it. You asked the correct question just now. Does that money that we're going to pay them, or that they're trying to get us to pay them, includes all of their assets? And recently they've been trying to say to us that it will only be for the shares. They will retain the rights to the name of the company which means that they have intentions later on to go and add, join up with Smart. I mean with Starlink or some other company. If they're going to keep the what you call it, the license, that tells you that right there, they're trying to chances.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you. Thank you. I go ahead, Greg. You know what?
Go ahead, finish, sir.
Okay. Long and short,
I'm listening to both of your.
Yes, long and short, Greg and Leonard and my people. I would like to see the items that the taxpayers are going to buy. I would like to see that. The items. You go to the grocery stores, you come out with a bag of items that you paid for.
Sure.
Simple. I try to break it down as small as I can, right? So I would like to see the fine prints and what the people is going to pay $80 million for.
Mr.
Greg,
Chairman,
take
there's a
it.
book.
Yeah.
Wait, Mr. Chairman, there's a book in which you keep records of the shares and who own what shares of any company, that has shares.
Yeah.
They're telling us now that we weren't buying out Smart and the other, whatever the other name that they associate with Smart, all together or in totality. Initially, that's the impression that they were giving people. Now that the discussion is going on, they're now coming back and telling us, oh, well, no, 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 you wasn't going to get all of that you were talking about. That's not it.
Wow.
You was only going to get
Wow.
this. And
Wow.
what this
Wow.
represents that they're talking about right now are the shares.
Wow.
So we don't get shares
Anyway.
off book to put on our book for the price of
Yeah.
for a price that is 2 to almost 3 times really what their book is worth.
Wow.
We should be getting the assets, all the physical assets, okay, all the premises, the places that they
One
do,
would
all
say
the machinery, equipment, everything when we buy them. But
every
apparently,
pen, every
apparently
pen and every pen and paper too.
yes, but apparently that's not going to be the deal. At least
Yeah.
now they're explaining that.
Yeah.
We would have gone ahead and let's say everybody
Wow.
had agreed and bought that thing as it was, and nobody would have made any noise. But only to realize that all we were getting was
I am still waiting, sir,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry about that, Greg.
because
Your
Sorry.
turn, Greg. Go
I
ahead,
played
Greg. Sorry. Go
the
ahead.
I played the tape to try to make you good gentlemen make it make sense, and you can't seem to
I
get
mean,
it. So
Let us get it,
I
Greg.
will
Let us
have
get it.
I will have to go back and do it so we can see where these people telling themselves. Let's
Yes,
go
sir.
back to the tape and I will stop it exactly where I want you guys to listen to.
The financial summary of this transaction: the investment payback. The discounted payback period for the 80 million investment is 4.2 years. Dividend growth. Dividends to shareholders are projected to increase with the increase in synergies, the increased available cash flow once this transaction happens. BTL is able to support stronger shareholder returns. That's the minority shareholders, that's the large shareholders, and also our employees. And the minority shareholders are 1,500 minority shareholders. 200% increased return to shareholders on a $5 share. These returns are very, very strong, which is why the transaction makes sense. The duplicated infrastructure, the wasted duplicated assets, consumers are paying for this. Consumers are paying the price for duplicated infrastructure.
Tell us about the goal of reaching those 43 communities and how are they being left out at the moment?
So the economic returns to go and build infrastructure in these very remote areas is a long payback. Companies look at their financial returns and see where it's viable commercially to actually build infrastructure. Telecoms is expensive to roll out network infrastructure, and it doesn't make commercial sense. This transaction enables us to redeploy those assets that Smart has, and also BTL, to enable us to roll those networks sites out to those areas at a much reduced cost, which increases the payback.
That sounds like a hospital.
Mr. Chairman, I stopped the tape because
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Greg.
it do not make sense.
Oh, Greg, quick, I want to step on your toe. Quick, who employed is the Belizean taxpayer paying that man? Who employed that guy?
BTL.
Is he an Ashcraft employee?
No.
He's brought in as an analysis.
Oh, okay. Say
But
no more.
I
But
want
Go
to
ahead.
say this,
he's speaking from a BTL perspective. Okay.
Mr. Chairman and
Go ahead,
people at
Greg.
home and abroad. I stopped the tape there because the gentleman, before I say this, that this gentleman is putting out there is based on monopoly and a one telecommunication building, BTL. Okay? Now, if you have no competition, then of course what he's putting out there, they can achieve some goal.
Because they could just
So
keep raising
don't
the
get me
price.
wrong,
Keep raising the
because
price.
this is their intention. You heard why I stopped the tape? Because what when he was asked what is the long-term goal, the long-term goal is to reach the suburban area, and then it will bring in equity. So when he is saying this, it's a mixed concept because the Prime Minister is not saying that. And I want you to hear exactly what the Prime Minister is saying.
Boy, oh
What
boy.
we have said in cabinet is that if somebody applies for the services from Starlink, that we should allow them to have it if it is not in an area where they have access to the services that Belizean companies provide.
There you go. So make it make sense.
I made it make sense the last show we had when I
Huh?
said that. When I
They,
Hold
said
on,
they,
hold on,
last
hold
show,
on,
hold
hold on,
on.
Leonard. Hold on, Leonard.
They
Leonard.
are telling on themselves, okay, the foreign individual who is the analysis is saying to achieve that goal, they must be all over Belize, in rural areas, in suburban areas. But then the Prime Minister is lying. He is not looking for competition because he is making believe to the people when Starlink come in, they can operate in the rural and suburban areas to protect BTL. Make it make sense. And I will tell you what, that 4.2 years is out of context because if they do this monopoly, Belizeans will be left behind. It will take them 4.2 years to accumulate what they put out, and in the meantime, technology will be moving by us.
uh, Greg,
What?
a little correction there. They are offering Smart and the other company for us to pay them back in approximate 4.5 years. The problem is, in 4.5 years, we would not have made enough money of our own to pay them back that money that they are really starting to get upfront with the first $10 million and all the way through for the next 4 years, 4.5 years. They are cashing out. We will be left with an obsolete company. Starlink will come in. We don't have
Mr.
the
Brackett,
we don't have the
you're
Yeah.
still
technical oil.
missing the point, Mr. Brackett.
Go ahead,
In
Greg.
order to achieve what you are saying, they must expand to rural and suburban area. You heard the man say.
Yeah.
So tell me how it will pay back if they don't
They
accomplish
don't
that
care about
goal.
that part. They don't care about that part. But my point is, when they are telling us that they are going to give us their equipment and their company for they're going to credit it us for us to pay it off in 4.5 years. By the time that 4.5 years come, Starlink would have been in country already doing business, and we have no control over Starlink in terms of where the boundaries of their services operate because they're operating out of the satellites in the skies. They're not operating on a machine on the ground like what BTL is doing right now with cables on the ground and undersea cables and
Mr.
dishes and
Brackett,
that kind of stuff. It's a
excuse
different
me,
system.
sir, you're going back to the same old substance. What is happening here? If they want to do the right thing, BTL invest the 80 million in Starlink, let Smart Speednet invest in Starlink, and we both have the modern technology that becomes satellite without running wires. That's what we
Mr.
need.
Brackett, Mr. Brackett,
Competition.
these people are trying to get rid of their SpeedNet and Smart. We don't need to take up their burden. Let them sell to some other private entity or whoever they want if they don't want to run it themselves, or
I
just smash it.
I agree with
You
you,
don't need to
sir.
be involved with
But I
investments.
just show you how they plan to do it, lying to the people. Because while the prime minister is saying if anybody get license for Starlink, they will be able to operate in rural and suburban
It's a
area.
lie.
The
It's a
good
lie. We can't
analysis
buy
is
into their
saying
lies.
in order to reach the goal, they need to take over the rural and the suburban area.
We don't need to buy into their narratives and their lies. Once we do that,
And
we are
guys, you
defeating our
see,
objective.
you
Our
see
objective.
that 4.2 years there. They only have 5 years. They elect them for 5 years. So they want to cash out before they get. They probably might see that things will change in the next election. So they want this deal to package and distribute before the next
Mr.
Chairman,
election.
Chairman, let me
Chairman,
explain that to you, right? It's a private public company or public private. How they set it up? When they do this acquisition, the private company CEOs, etc., even if government saying they are already locked in for 30, 35 years maybe. So even if they are not there anymore, their money gets accumulated as the
Exactly.
private part of the company.
Yeah.
And that is
Mr.
what is happening all over.
Mr. Chairman, I want to preempt the whole of this discussion tonight and all the discussion that is being had in the country right now about this proposed sale. Okay, because one, these people have sat on the board, were put on the board of BTL to run BTL in at the ground. Then took away the government contracts from them, okay, and gave it to Smart. Now they want us to go and buy it back from Smart, okay. Besides that, when we buy it back from Smart right now, right, they expect that because we will be under pressure to pay them financial payments on a schedule of 4.5 years. Within the next 4.5 years, we will have not enough profit to modernize and upgrade and do what we need to do for the upcoming competition. So we will crash. And when we crash, they will move in again and pick up the pieces again, buy us out for pennies on the dollar, and then they go and make arrangement with Starlink and whoever else not. That's the gap. That's it. Mr. Ashcroft has been in our telecommunication business for years.
This inception, yeah.
The man will never get out.
But
Why?
Yeah, man.
Because it's a good thing that he can milk the country. You know,
Mr. Chairman, if
man,
I
Yeah.
may,
Go ahead,
I'll
Greg.
talk about it later on.
I
I'll talk about it later
understand
on.
my good cousin, but I'm not even going to that.
We keep running with them people in
I
stupid
am
narrative,
trying to
okay?
show the people the lie and how they are trying to pass it to get the acquisition passed. When the individual who is the analysis, when asked what is the long-term goal, is specifying on national TV that in order to accomplish it, they must go to the rural and suburban area to make income.
That's what
And
he's
only
saying.
to find,
Can I
hold on
explain
a
something there?
second,
Hold on,
hold
Leonard.
on a
Hold on.
second,
Mhm.
only to find that the prime minister is misleading the country
That's
when he
what.
says if anybody gets license for Starlink, they will be able to work in the rural and
Only.
suburban area.
He used the word only too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what that is telling you, from what the analysis is saying, BTL will be dominant if it goes through. They will take the whole country. And for 4.5 years, Starlink will be banned in order for them to make for 4.2 years what they are trying to make. And that is only if they can accomplish the rural and suburban area. I go back to you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Leonard.
the man, so long as we continue dissecting their narratives and playing with their narratives, we the kill for we time because only the people could save the people. We can't save the people. We are not in that position. But we are in a position where we can help the people save themselves.
Yeah.
That is to say, dissect this bogus stuff that they're putting out there, and every time they come out there and they lie, show where they're lying. Make the people wise to their connivingness. They cannot get this stuff done without the acquiescence of the people. If they do, it's like, well, I don't think Mr. Briseno care for running a politics anymore anyhow. So you just as well crush the party and move on with the money. That is mindset I think this gentleman is coming along with. But the bottom line is that they come out and they tell us what they think we want to hear, and every time we bust them out or catch them, they change the narratives and come out with something else and add something else, and they keep doing that over and over. We need to tell the people and explain to the people where the shortcomings are and point out where the trick that they're using on us. They're telling us that they need to acquire these assets from BTL now I'm talking about. It's telling us that they need to acquire these assets from Smart in order for them to be able to expand the business and go into the rural areas.
When you say assets, Leonard, let me ask you a question on that same word assets. What do you understand about assets? You mentioned assets, right?
Yeah, but I just explained to you just now that the man and it changed what initially was conveyed as the assets meant that we were buying over in totality Smart and what the next name again? I keep forgetting that next name.
Next gen?
The next gen? No.
It's Smart Speednet.
Speednet, sorry. Speednet.
Okay, they're one and the same. So if I don't remember one of them, I could remember the other one. The point is, they want to sell to somebody because they want to get out of the business. They have an agreement. A verbal discussion was had where the Prime Minister and Mr. Ashcroft and some other people across each other's telephone line bantered this thing back and forward and came up with this idea that they could go ahead and sell our stuff to BTL. We already in BTL have more than what we need because we have redundancy. All of them acknowledge that. But then when we buy out, in addition to our current redundancy, then when we buy out or sponsor out of business, Speednet and Smart. We are not in the business of sponsoring nobody. We need to continue our business and keep our business on the trajectory that it's on, that even though they stole the contracts from us, we are still making life and moving forward. But they want to get out quickly now, and they want to use us to make the profit and give them our profit that we make as payment for their company that they are not going to be running.
Mr. Brackett.
That's bogus.
You are repeating yourself, sir.
Go ahead, Greg.
Repeating yourself on the same thing. We need to explain to the people what is the trickery in this.
Well, you did. You did already.
That's what I just
you
said.
did. You did. You from Jump Street. You're showing the trick on that, Greg. You already show. One is saying that one, and the other one saying something.
The analysis who says they want to take over the rural and suburban.
And Briseno saying something else.
It's not only that they're after, you know what they're after to accomplish it?
He never said that they want to take it over, He's saying that if we buy those extra equipments and stuff, that will enable us to be able to then go ahead and work and expand or reach into the other areas.
That is taking it over, Mr. Brackett. If you want to go into the areas where the Prime Minister says will be left,
we have to stop that narrative that they're trying to push on us. The fact,
but you repeating it.
No, the fact remains we already have duplicated capability in BTL, even without dealing with Smart or the other company. So if we have duplicated equipment right now that we could use to expand and
But
go to those areas,
see what you going at? I don't care nothing about no equipment. The thing here is the
yeah,
narrative.
that is what they're
In
trying to tell
order
us.
to,
How are we
in
going to stop these fools from buying those equipment if you don't care about it and you don't want the public to learn and know about what is that's going on? How are we going to get the public to stop them people from buying more than what we don't have more than what
let
we
me
need?
answer that for you if you stay quiet for a
We don't need
second.
we don't need to go and
Let
buy
me
more we don't have.
let me answer that for you because we repeating that. The way to stop them is to show the people their intention. And the
Exactly.
intention
That is what we are
is
trying to
to
say,
take over the whole of Belize, including rural and suburban. And when they do that, they're doing that to get all the individuals, whoever bought from Smart Speednet. That's the only way
Greg,
to achieve
Greg,
the goal.
Greg, as a business proposition, that is the ambition of Smart, SpeedNet, of BTL, of any of the other 20 odd companies. Then when they say we have, each and every one of them have that hope that one day they could grow and take over the whole damn country. There's nothing wrong with that as an ambitious objective. I'm saying the problem we have right now is that they want to cash out currently and take our money, and we have to find a way then to come up with the rest of the money for finish paying, in addition to the fact that the profit that we make will not stay with us. It will go to them. So what the hell are we running a business for then? Even if we buy for them one or get for them one, why are we going to have a bigger business than the one we have right now if everything will go to them as a profit? That doesn't make no
Greg,
sense.
Greg, and
You don't need to
also
buy
and
them to
Leonard.
us.
Today I noticed yesterday the business bureau, Greg and Leonard, jump on the bandwagon that the business bureau says it's a
Yes,
win-win
yes,
for the
Mr.
people.
Chairman. But
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, I must say this, right?
Yes,
And we said this on the last show. It is plain
and,
to
and, and,
see
and who that
when,
chairman was, that BTL chairman was, he was the business senator, right?
right,
Wasn't
Exactly.
he the business
Yeah,
senator?
exactly.
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead. Sorry. Go
He was
ahead.
the one that
if
was
you
flying.
remember Monday night, I said something that is very important. In order to get this deal done, the private company has no funds to do it. That is why they are leaning so hard on SSD, which is Social Security, and taxpayers' government. And that is why the long-term goal, they don't have money to accomplish it. The long-term goal is to take over everywhere to get the money back by taking over Smart Feednet customers and
Yeah.
turning BTL into the one monopoly
Yeah.
that will still affect us as Belizeans.
Of
Because
course.
when they do that, it will not be as the Prime Minister said. So, so what will happen?
The Prime Minister
The
they tried.
new technology for 4.2 years will not come to Belize.
So,
And we will be what? Backward
so
instead
Greg,
of moving
Greg and
We
forward.
need to,
Leonard,
we
my
need to stop
question
the
to you
word and
guys.
that
My
4
question to you guys. Let's move to another location now. My question to you guys, right? Now everything is at a standstill and waiting for BTL board to
it's
come
not
public.
it's not standstill yet, Mr. Wait.
Wait,
It's
wait,
still not
wait.
standstill,
As
sir.
to what I understand, yeah, I will get your understanding, and then I will get Greg understanding. My
In the work
understanding, right? So hold on. My understanding is that they are waiting for the BTL board to sit and have a vote, and then it will come to cabinet. That's my understanding. So I go to Greg first to dissect that for me, my brother.
Mr. Chairman, the intent of these people is always to use the back door. when you heard the Prime Minister get up and the Minister of Telecommunication act and speak about a regulation and an ASI, the intent of BTL was to buy over the shares from Smart Speednet without presenting to the public.
No,
Okay?
that's not the answer
And
my
they cannot
question.
do that.
That's not the answer my question.
Okay?
I don't want to hear what you think about who have the final say. Then put it in a right. Who have the final say on this deal? Because the way I understand it, the way some of the crooks to talk about the ministers, some of them that is behind Briseño and some not behind Briseño to get his deal done. That yeah, well, you know, cabinet not forget mingle and thing and thing, but we have to wait. I talk about the word using, we got to wait. So what any wait for?
Mr.
So
Chairman,
that
I have stated it before.
but what you think about
There is only
who has
two
the
players
final?
that can have the final say if they unconstitutionally and unlawfully, illegally carry out this transaction. It will be judicial review. Secondly, the only next place is to go to the National Assembly and pass an amendment to repeal the present Telecommunication Act. And I don't see that happening.
Thank you. Leonard, let me hear your take on my concern, my question, right? Which is very germane because the people will want to know when this who has the final word on this deal now with all the protests and this and that and all the talking. You had the Julius guy say one thing, you hear the Shabbat guy say one thing, and the other, all that, right? They say. So let's see. I ask you, who will actually sign off on this deal? Cabinet or the BTL board?
In the first place, we're dealing with a lot of misunderstanding, deliberate misinformation, and I would say outright connivingness, okay? Because the process is not going the way it would have gone in the first place, which is to say, I can explain that. And we're arguing or debating about the bits and pieces of what's being played out right now. And none of it at the end of the day is dealing with the facts the way those are supposed to be. Okay? Some Spanish people will say punto y final, or say point, what?
Point blank.
Point blank and whatever. But it's not that simple or that easy. In the first place, they got to go back and do what they're trying to do now, which they hadn't done in the beginning, which is we're not dealing with a private company like what the jackass,
the Bacon guy,
Mr. Bacon man was trying to tell us when he looked us in the face with his devilish eyes and said, you know, this is a private stuff and we don't have no reason to give you information based on that.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, he was saying, get the hell out of my face and don't bother me. When he was caught and he realized he was caught and he couldn't get away with what he was trying to say to us or do, he changed his tune. But by then, they had all the horses lined up to have been able to do this thing without any public input, public information, or disclosure. They have what you call a non-disclosure agreement between them and the Ashcroft alliances and the other ones then. BTL has a non-disclosure so that even the BTL employees them or the board people them can't disclose what is it that they're transacting between themselves, which is us, by the way, because BTL is us. We have 88%. So they can't come and tell us no craziness that it's a public-private, and therefore they have to operate on a private protocols or procedures or bylaws. Because the bylaws are fixed, they're black and white. They're already established. We, the majority, Belizeans, own 88% of that company, 82% if I'm not mistaken. Okay? And the rest of it is owned by private individuals. That's why you have one board member on the board to represent that small group of individuals. They're like, I think it's like 15,000 people own the other, what is it, 17% or something like that. 15,000 people. I used to own shares there. I know other people who own shares there. But the big majority of the shares were bought by institutional entities such as Social Security Board, with all big fat money from all the people in the country that works out of the Social Security funds. And then the government, in order to have control of it, put in some other big money again on our behalf as the people. The only reason why they could use the word private is because, yes, a few private people own some shares. It was designed to be like that from the very get-go when it was first built or made under the Esquivel government. And the only time that has changed.
So in other words, the cabinet is going to knock down that deal.
If they wanted, they could. Which is why I was going to explain to you why I said earlier what I said. That what we are dealing with and the way we are dealing with it is not the right way and the way it should have been done. The right way is that cabinet, on behalf of the government, representing the government or the people, they have the fiduciary trust to make sure that everything works out. And if they have a need to go to the House to get, because of the amount of money involved, they still have to carry it from cabinet to the House to be voted on. There's no problem there with that either. That's part of the process. The problem is that the Prime Minister don't want to have people see his hand involved in this process where he's trying to use public funds to feather his family and Mr. Ashcroft. That is
Amen to that. Thank you. Greg, what you think on this constant showing of these 4 senators?
I will personally say, Mr. Chairman, that the senators are on the right track. But just to go up to date, to make the people understand what is at risk here, I want to refer what the previous chairman of PUC had to say.
My point I'm making is that the PUC does not belong in this thing any at all. The PUC can, in fact, authorize the sale of SpeedNet to someone else, but not to BTL. Nothing in this act says that the PUC is to encourage an operator, especially a dominant operator, eliminating its competition. So, like I say, it's only to alleviate certain concerns that people have raised with regards to BTL taking advantage of its position. They're saying where we will pass laws that BTL cannot increase its rates without our approval. That is what they're doing. But it has nothing to do with the acquisition.
So with or without the acquisition, they could still do that? They
can still do that once there's a dominant. You can do it all over the country. Because, like I said, there are a lot of small operators that they're the only one providing service in certain areas. So they are sole providers or dominant provider in those areas. Will the PUC then go and set rates for them? I don't know that this is what the PUC wants to get into, but it seems to me that this is just a move to alleviate concerns about BTL as a monopoly. But in my opinion, it is totally unrelated to this acquisition. PUC, but if they are to implement what the law says, they have no business in approving the purchase of SpeedNet by BTL. If SpeedNet wants to sell to someone else, PUC by law can approve that. But PUC should not get involved with BTL trying to acquire SpeedNet.
All right, and so what are they doing by showing that they want to suddenly designate BTL ahead of the proposed merger?
It says to me that they're trying to facilitate the merger, which is they're acting contrary to the charge that the law puts on them. They're abdicating their responsibility under the law, basically.
And so what is your opinion of the individuals that are part of the PUC. You know, they're appointed by the Prime Minister.
I won't make any assessment of an individual on the PUC. That is for someone else to decide. I'm telling you, as a collective body, the PUC, not pointing to any one individual, your job under this act is to regulate the sector, implement the policy of government, promote fair competition, that sort of thing. You are not doing what the law says you should be doing by facilitating an acquisition of SpeedNet by BTL.
There you have it.
Plain and straight. You can't get it no clearer, Mr. Chairman.
And these 4 senators, Greg, you think they will stand, keep their, stand their ground, right, Leonard?
It's my belief that at least 2 out of the 4 are solid. I'm not too sure about all 4. And that itself would present a problem, because if 1 out of those 4 leans with the 6 from the government, that means that the government carries the day in that regards. Because then they will have 7 out of 13, which is a majority.
Okay.
And that's the game that these guys are playing, the long and the short. They're trying to play that game with the BTL. They're trying to board. They're trying to play the game with the PUC. They're trying to corner all the resources and everybody and get everybody on board to say, yes, let's give the Prime Minister family and Mr. Ashworth their money.
Yes.
The hell with what happened afterwards, and tough luck for us. I can't.
So, Chairman, as I stated before, I want to quickly have some of those senators say something. But as I stated before, because I don't like it to come from us by our mouth, here on Belizean affair, we show and tell, and as I stated, they were trying to go through the back door by buying shares. So let's hear it from the PUC.
Well, I must say first that that is a current and active matter before the Commission, and as such we are prohibited from having any public discussions about that. But I can say that what is before the PUC is an agreement for the purchase of shares.
Can you explain what process the PUC is going to go through to approve or deny?
As it relates to your question as to what is the process for the proposed BTL and SpeedNet acquisition, reiterate what Ms. Stacy said, that it's a live case that's in front of the PUC, and as you may be aware that the PUC and the decisions that we make are quasi-judicial, and we are unable to comment until a final decision has been made on whatever has been submitted in front of us for review. Now, what that process is, the first thing that needs to occur is the PUC receives documentation of whatever is the intent or whatever that agreement is. Once we have received that information, then the PUC would then follow through with reviewing that document, and whatever the Telecommunications Act prescribed for us to do, then we would continue that process. And so if it is prescribed that we are to go to a public consultation, then we would follow what the regulations say, right? So what we can speak on right now is that we had received that document. And that document, there's been a lot of changes from that initial document. And so we need to just receive whatever is that final submission from the party that is interested for the proposed acquisition.
So there you have it again, Mr. Chairman.
She's dodging the question that was
trying to buy shares, and that is why it was so silent. But
the NDA is playing part right there. The non-disclosure.
But
that's what she's.
The business senators is sticking to the gun, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Well, the 42.4 is very, very clear in terms of how far they can go, and you cannot do anything. No player can do anything that significantly lessens that competition. If they do, then they're violating the act.
SIs change regulations to change the substantive act I believe you do have to go to the House of Representatives.
They teach us in law school that you could do anything you want, right? The question is whether it's lawful. And so that's how I will answer your question, Marisol. The Prime Minister is correct. He can do it. The PUC can do it. They can do it. I think they intend to do it. I think that is the intention. And this is what the people of Belize need to understand. That once the ink has already dried and monies has already been transferred, no court in this country can then go back and say to BTL, give back SMART. Reverse that. DG will then be too big to fail, to be penalized, you tax yourself. So when you then come and say, oh, we'll do this and it was illegal, the remedy then will just be what? Pay the fine.
That's why we got to cut before they get there. I hope we get to understand that particular point. That is that after like I said it the last time, after the ink is dry, there's no way that we will be able to get back all money, especially from Mr. Ashcroft. We might be able to get back the money from the local Belizeans then if we sue it, which will take many years. But with Mr. Ashcroft, once the money is gone, it's gone. He probably put that in another overseas bank, in one of the other Caribbean bank then. How you gonna get it back out? But anyhow, are you back right now?
Guys, Leonard, back to you. I want to give you 4 minutes for your closing, or 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
My summation is that in the first place, if Mr. Ashcroft wasn't involved and the Bishenya family wasn't involved, we wouldn't have the heartaches and the issues that we're now currently dealing with. That is to say, more likely than not, the government would have allowed this process because the Prime Minister, as the head of cabinet, and also as Minister of Finance, all these issues have to land on his desk for final resolution and taking it to the House for final voting on in terms of the amount of money involved and the effect that it will have on the economy of the country. There are a lot of other things getting involved here that we are not even talking about as of tonight. Okay? But let's suffice to say it, at least, that if it was a genuine effort on the part of SMART to just want to get out of business because they see what's coming down, and they were dealing with people who were not suborned, the unsuborned people then would have had a better shot at negotiating a better deal for us. That is to say, instead of paying $80 million, we could end up paying somewhere between 30 and 40. And by that measure, even if it was Bishenya or Mr. Ashcroft, they may share the money according to the schedule of their shares, whatever money was decided on. But these people were suborned, and therefore they accepted whatever number was thrown at them. And that number was much too big for what the assets really valued. That's why they don't want to put out a valuation. They don't want to put out no kind of, detailed information, and they create these what you call non-disclosure agreements so that people don't get to know what's under the hood. But because they are suborned, they're going to cut a deal on behalf of the people who suborn them and who have the power enough to suborn them. And the public that will never know what took place behind closed doors in boardrooms will never be any more the wiser. And even if they're any more the wiser, once the deal, I'm telling you, and I said it before, even if a final deal is not made between SMART and BTL, if BTL was to just acquiesce to the idea of having their board member decide, yes, the deal was a good deal and we should go ahead and do it, they're putting us, the Belizean people, behind the 8 ball in terms of liability. Because on that basis, Mr. Ashcroft, as I stipulated earlier in one or two of our previous shows on this matter, Mr. Ashcroft would take that matter to court and sue the government and get his money out of the government if he just can't get it directly out of BTL. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the majority holder is the government, we the people of Belize. And Mr. Ashcroft not playing no kind of hanky-panky game when he come for money. He has so much control and influence over we politicians them to the point that he only threatened one suit. And when he threatened one suit, he threatened for sue for a lot more than what he should be suing for. So these guys, they run and pretend like, okay, well, they're getting a good break from the man, and they settle with the man. The man could sue you for something worth $40 million where he lent, okay, to Mr. Spot on the port, and turn around and take between 10 and 13 years of money that he collected from the port while he had it under receivership. Take all that money, $13 million a year profit, which should have been $130 million approximately, which should have paid off his $40 million original loan. But instead of negotiating on that level, we rascal politicians then turn around and give the man one next $400 million on top of all of that. And turn around and tell us, well, they had a good negotiation with the man. They got away with pennies on the dollar. What the hell $40 million on turn into 400 plus, and then the original 130, 530 million dollars. $40 million on turn, as a loan, and then part of that was also taken, okay, because he got the big house from back at BUC, right? The big house from Mr. Spot, they built the big hotel or whatever it was, and he had other assets. He took away all the assets that Mr. Spot made a whole over to the PUP organization as part of their retirement gig, which is why he was able to say that so blatantly. I think I'm overusing.
Yes, thank you, Leonard. Greg, at 5 minutes, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say this, right? I personally have no trust in the government because I believe they lie too much, and whenever they say something, I can point them out. If I recall, and I will use the phrase my good cousin always said, using his fingers, he settled all accounts.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, he said Mr. Ashcroft would take his business and go wherever he pleased out of Belize, only to find we are right back in this scenario.
Mr. Brackett, at that time, when he was saying that, in the house, by the way, lying in the house, a venerable institution, okay, he was still in business with the man. As of today date that we're discussing this smart business, he was a shareholder with Mr. Ashcroft, Belizean and Ashcroft being shareholders of the smart company. Even from way back then, as of today date, that we're having this conversation. Sorry for taking up time. So
yeah, go ahead, Greg.
So, as I said before, if people of Belize would sit down and go over these tapes when these people speak, you will hear the lies and you will catch them. Because again, you heard the former chairman of PUC or president stipulated that there is small cable companies in these rural areas. No wonder there was these other companies like Centura or whatever listed for the buyout too. Because the intention was to take all those rural companies. Because that is the only way they can make this money that their analysis put out there, by being a one telecommunication company with no competition to stop them.
And when Smart and the other companies then come in, That's going to cut into the competition of BTL and it's going to reduce their income. So then after that happen and they start have reduced income, how the hell are we going to finish pay off for what we get ourselves into right now? Just to be nice to the Prime Minister and his colleagues. That's a bunch of crap. Because at that time then, in the future, when that point arrives, the asset of BTL will be worth much less than it's worth today. And how much are we going to sell it for then in order to get it out of our head? Because as the Prime Minister have already stipulated, unless we go ahead and buy his junk, BTL is going to crash. He intended to have BTL crash from the very first time he put up Mr. Bacon there to look after it. And he took away the contracts that belong to the government.
Mr. Brackett, if
Thank
I
you.
may, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Greg.
A bunch of
He
mobsters.
said one good thing, that BTL is going to crash. And I will back him up on that. You know why? Becoming a sole monopoly and you don't have the bandwidth, you will crash. And we already find that out. When you go and you stream anything or too much places is on the line, either BTL or Smart, you start freezing up. It's not going through. It cuts out. So imagine.
Where are they going to get the money to improve or to enhance that?
And that is why I am saying, Mr. Chairman, to you, the Belizean people at home and abroad, if this deal goes through, Belize will be put back 4.2 years. Because for 4.2 years, Starlink will cease to exist in Belize in order for them to make their money on this deal. So we need to really assess and look at what is happening. And anywhere in the world, anywhere they have monopolies, is because they have the population and they are big countries like America, like the Europeans. Belize is not a place for that. Belize needs competition to survive.
Mr.
And
Chairman?
if you don't get competition, you cannot move forward because you will be stepping back 4.2 years.
Sorry. Can I give a quick example of what's happening right now in Belize with the monopoly of the BEL? BEL decides how much they want to charge for their monopoly of electrical generation and supply, right? If the PUC don't give them enough money for them to pay their bills, they will go bankrupt. So they have a monopoly, and every time they can get their prices raised, so long as they have a justified excuse. That's what monopolies does to people and to a country. I'm not saying that our monopoly has to be malignant. You could have a monopoly that is benign. That's looking after the interests of the consumer or the people. And that's what you have when you have good government.
Leonard, time.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Time. Okay. Yeah. Guys, healthy conversation that's needed. The information given to the public needed. Some comes from us, some from their very own mouth, right? And it gives the public, those who watch us, more to see, and more to hear what's really going on, right? So that they could be informed and know what's going on with these jackals, these guys, how they continue to do to us and hurdling a little corner and they talk about, in secrecy, how to rob the Belizean people. Why is it always the Belizean people and the nation get robbed? Why?
Because we are docile, sir.
Right. You know, and I'm not, I mean, it's a shame, you know, Leonard and Greg, it's a shame to see how these
I mean,
people.
I could put back. I could pull back the statement, you know, and swallow it, right, and eat it back because you know, just trying to be kind, right?
Yes.
But does that make sense? To know the truth, withhold the truth, you're an accomplice then, and I don't wish to be an accomplice to any kind of, you know, rascals behavior with them people they go on
And
with.
to every time, guys, Greg and Leonard, they say it's good for the people, you know, it turns out to be bad, right? After it turns out to be, it's good for the people when they are getting the taxpayers' dollars and embezzling and getting from, you know, every which way. It's good. But then in the end, it turns out bad for the Belizean people. And then another thing with them, my people, both at home and abroad, they never show the fine print. Oh, well, that mean we don't just never read it, right? That was all in the deal, but we don't never read it.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman? What about stamp duties, taxes, and whatever? I mean, when you add up all the extra stuff there, who's going to pay those, or who's going to benefit from those not being collected, or who's going to get all of those for free?
And then we see how we short in the hospitals for medication, equipment.
That's
right.
right.
We see how people are getting shortchanged. The public, the working class are getting shortchanged. No one looks out for the small people anymore. This government system is about business.
When your teeth small, when your teeth small, you go to jail.
So
when your teeth big.
So what kind of a country are we living in? So my people, these are things that you know, and it's playing out in front of your eyes. And
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, go ahead, Greg.
I want to say this to those employees, former employees of BTL. It is more than one of you, and you have the power to get together and file an injunction to stop this opposition. And I will tell you why. No big corporation can do an acquisition when it owes its former employees money, which is a large sum. Any court would stop it and say, before you continue, you must pay these people.
Wasn't that ruled on already as a stare decisis? Was a settled law at the highest court in the Caribbean?
That is correct.
Okay. So
but now they need to go back and do it
and redo it all over again. Only, for example, to have the matter straight out, because there's an estoppel there, right?
It's not an estoppel. It will not be an estoppel if you seek to collect. You are trying to stop a transaction which is new evidence for them to pay you.
It depends on how you file it.
Yeah.
That's a technical.
Well, guys,
dealing with it.
And another thing, guys, that I want to leave the people with, to every time it has to do with millions, Ashcroft is involved.
And he gets
every time Ashcroft is involved. You could take it any way you want to take it, but that's real truth. So, and what is left for the Belizean people and the hardworking men and women? And on that note, guys, I want to thank you, Greg.
Modern slavery, Mr. Chairman.
Modern slavery, Leonard.
Yes,
Greg,
sir.
thank you for always show and tell from their very own mouth.
Thank you for a nice talk tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again, Greg.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Good product.
With that said, I want to say good night to you people at home and abroad.
We want everybody. We want everybody. Give me some of your everybody. Give me some of that